So, as I have told you guys before, I believe, I love the public transportation system. Have I told you guys this? I mean, okay, I know that it comes with being squished sometimes because there's so many people standing on the metro. I know that sometimes the bus drivers will leave you when you're right there. What else don't I like about the metro? Yeah, well, I can't remember the rest right now, but I love the freedom that the public transportation system provides. Okay? It is amazing. Not the one downside, I've just told you several, or a couple, but when it comes to shopping for food, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm not carrying those bags home, and then the bus stop's like 5 minutes from the store that I like to go to, and that store is like 15, 20 minutes from me. So I'm like, I can't walk home. It's hard to walk to the bus stop. I was like, yo, I'm getting an Uber today, okay? And so I decided to get an Uber, okay? But let me show you what I was working on. I'm someone who goes grocery shopping for like the month. Okay, that arm's a little weak right now. So it's like this. And there's one more bag, guys. I don't know why I felt the need to do that. Anyway, there's one more bag. So I'm going to tell you the story as I put my food up. So I was on the metro on my way home and was like, are you going to go home first and get your suitcase so you won't have to carry the bags? Or are you going to get off a stop early because it's closer to the store that you're going to and then figure your way home? You're just going to have to figure it out. And I couldn't reason with myself to get to myself to like go home first because I would add like 30, 40 minutes to the trip. And I was trying to save time. I was like, if I go to the grocery store first, I can get my stuff. I'll figure out how I'll go home. But if I go home first, it's going to be 40 minutes, basically 25. But if I came inside, it might be 20 minutes of me doing whatever. Yeah, so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to the store first. Anyway, so I go to the store, and I'm watching The Good Doctor. I have two phones. I'm watching The Good Doctor on one of my phones, and the other phone was on 15%. And I was like, okay. And then the one I'm watching The Good Doctor on, I'm like, Tori, it's on like 27%. Are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure you don't watch a show while you're shopping? Not that I would be distracted, but like it's gonna kill your battery, and you might need that. And I was like, I mean, what do I need my phone for? And I would get home. So I was like, I'm watching this episode. I watched the episode of The Good Doctor. It was great. I shopped, figured out what I had to do. You know, I realized I can multitask because I was like contemplating, like adding up things, contemplating if I'm going to get this, if I'm going to get that, planning my meals, all while watching The Good Doctor. I mean, I had kind of already decided what I was going to get, but I had the, you know, what I'm definitely going to get in the maybe list, and deciding if I was going to get that maybe list, that's stuff. But I was adding on my calculator while I was watching the show. Anyway, so I come to the end, and the guy at the cash register, he spoke English to me, which allowed me to get the card, the little grocery card. I was like, oh, that's what these people have been asking about when I get to the line. Anyway, I did that. They asked for my life to sign up for the card. Anyway, so at the cash register, like, my phone went from 12% to 5% in like 7 minutes. So it was like decreasing by the minute. Anyway, so I'm at the cash register, and the man I told you told me to sign my life away to get this card, basically. So I'm like, bro, my phone is dying. I'm trying to, because at this point I have decided that I'm gonna get Uber, because Uber is like $5. I was like, it's worth it. You know, it's worth it. I can get home with my groceries. I don't take Ubers. This is my one Uber day. You know what? I couldn't even pick up the bags for the YouTube video. So no, I am not struggling all the way to the bus stop, which is 7 minutes away. No, it's not, because it takes you like 4 minutes to get out of the mall store. So it's like, 12 minutes away. Oh, I did that right. Anyway, so I was like, no, I'm getting an Uber. But my phone was dying and it was only like 5%. And then I was like, oh yeah, your phone has to be alive the whole time, for the Uber to show up and say, hey, I'm here. So I put my groceries down right by the door, because I realized that I'm at the door and I was like, oh shit. So I walk back in the mall place. There's a little store and there's a lady standing there with her phone. I was like, hey, she was like, yeah, sure. So she plugged it up. So I plugged my phone up, guys. That was a miracle. That was a miracle. Because I was able to charge and watch my groceries, because I wasn't moving my groceries again. Once I got to the door, I wasn't. So I was like charging my phone and then looking. Okay. Because that was a lot of groceries and I'm not trying to get that sale. I don't even know how they would run away with. They wouldn't be able to. Anyway, so I'm charging my phone. So, because it had gone down to like 30%. And I got it back up to like 12%. Yeah, I got it back up to 12%. And I had got my Uber. And the Uber was like 12 minutes away. So I was like, all right, cool. I waited until he was like 5 minutes away so I could I had time to get out there. And guys, guess what? It was raining. It rained. So I was like, oh, look at God. I got an Uber on the day that it was going to rain, or that it did rain. And I had groceries. Double whammy for the Uber. I was like, bet. And there was a bus stop right there where I told the Uber to drop me off or pick me up. So I pull up my bags to the bus stop, and I took up like all 4 seats with my bags. So like 5 seats, I think. And I took 4 of them. Or it was 3 seats, whatever. At some point I was sitting all of it, and whatever. I moved. That was nice. Except for I didn't move my bags. I moved myself because I was sitting down in one and I got back up. Anyway, so the Uber comes, right? Mind you, I have measured out how long my battery will last. It's on like 4% when the Uber gets there. And I'm like, yes, we've done it. He gets there. And then I was like, hey, can you pull up a little bit? Because he wasn't right here. He was right there. And I've told you how heavy these bags are. The bags are right there right now. And I couldn't pick them up to come right here. So I was like, can you pull it up? So he pulls forward a little bit. And I'm like, all right, great. I go to grab a bag. And then he keeps going right there to the light. And I'm like, why? Why did you not stop right here? And why did you do that? So I go over to the car. I'm like, okay. I thought that maybe he was going up there because he could pull to the side a little bit more. And I don't know. I guess it was also a bus stop. So I was like, maybe he doesn't want to stop right in front of him. Whatever. So I go up. I grab the door. Mind you, I've looked at the Uber thing. I know it's the right car. And I mean, on top of it showing up on top of the car showing up when it said it would, I double checked. So the car shows up, I grab the door, and then he turns and he's like, now let me pause the story real quick to tell y'all how over this little waggy of the finger I am. Bus drivers have done that. And it's grown men. It's always grown men. That woman has never wagged her finger at me. It's always been some grown 40-year-old something man wagging his finger at me. Like, no. I am not a child. You will not wag your finger at me. And it's always unexpected. It's like I do some things kind of automatically. You're at the bus stop. The bus that you're waiting for comes at the appointed time, you expect to be able to get on. And then the wagging of the finger, no, 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 no. Or your Uber gets here and you pull the door handle and then he wags his finger at you. No, 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 no. Why? Why are you wagging your finger at me? So then I let go. I'm like, what's up? And he drives away. I was like, oh. And then my phone restarted. Or not restarted. Not that. The Uber wait count started again. It went from 0 to 12. And I was a little annoyed at him. I was like, why did you leave? But I was like, people do that sometimes. But then I was like, oh damn, I'm only on 3%. I'm on 3%. I am not carrying these bags back in the store. That is like it's not 7 minutes. Let me measure this right. Holding the bags. It's like 4 minutes away to get back to the charging point, and then my arm hurts. It is sore on top of the fact that I would have to. I was like, bro, why did you leave? Why did you leave? You know what, to my Uber drivers, I need to know. All right? I know that the trip was only 4 minutes away or 6 minutes. It was like, no, it is 8-minute trip away from the store. And maybe that's a small amount, but bro, it's only an 8-minute trip. Why you leave? You couldn't just drop me off. You saw I had groceries. But, you know, maybe he had a bad experience. And the last person left honey on his seat. And he said, no, no, no. That's not going to happen again to me. Whatever. I don't know. I don't care. That was upsetting. And then I was like, well, I hope the next Uber driver doesn't leave me. Because you know what? Ubers, sometimes your drivers be effing up. There are drivers who have just driven in circles. Just driven in circles. Until I canceled them. I don't like that. I would actually rather y'all do what he did. I guess, show up belief. Just cancel the order. Just cancel the order, okay? Anyway, the next guy, guys, showed up, pulled up, helped me get the groceries in the car, helped me carry it to my door. I just thank God for nice people in this world. Yeah, okay. But then I get in the Uber, right? And I'm kind of talking to him a little bit. I'm like, hey, you speak a little bit in English? A little. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I was like, the last guy left me. And then he laughs. And then I was like, and my phone is dying. And he laughed. And then I was like, oh, Tori, maybe you shouldn't tell your Uber drivers that your phone is dying. Because, guys, pause here. In school, we were talking about, I don't know what they were talking about when I walked in the classroom, but the teacher showed them the trailer for this movie called Split, which, if you haven't heard of it, is this guy that I really like as an actor. He's been in happier movies that I like, my type of movies. But in this movie, he was a man who had 23 personalities within him. And one of those, or maybe a couple of these, because I think one of them was a beast, so whatever. One of them was a psychopath, Another pause on that. So we're a couple pauses. But I don't think it is nice that people with mental illnesses are always made as villains, crazy ass villains in shows. Because if you got a problem with multiple personalities, now I don't trust you because you might be an ex-murderer or something. But we gotta stop combining these things. They got mental illness, and I guess someone who wants to kill you may have a mental illness, but they may just be conscious of it. Okay, I don't know. Whatever. Maybe it's somewhere combined, but I still feel like we don't have to combine them all the time. Some people just like to do it, and you know what? Just make a movie about them liking to do it. Anyway, in this commercial, in this trailer, these 3 girls are trauma. Like, if you don't like scary movies, if hearing them traumatizes you, you should stop here, because I'm about to tell you the scene. So, the kids, 3 teenage girls, are in a car in a grocery store parking lot. And the girl sees something drop. She looks out the rearview mirror. Next thing she knows, there's a guy in the passenger seat. So at the driver's seat, she turns and looks. She's like, "Who the fuck are you?" Because he is not whoever she was waiting on. And then he puts on a mask real quick, turns and sprays them, and knocks them out. And I'm like, oh wow, that's, you know what? That's too fast. Because what? I'm supposed to be able to hit you and run away. They didn't have time. He did not have time. She looked over. She was like, "Who are you?" She didn't have time. She was processing the fact that there's somebody because when people get in the car, and that person gets back in the car, sits down, you're not even looking at them. She wasn't even looking, you know? You only think the person getting in the car is supposed to be with you. So, yeah, I was like, that's too fast. So, I was like, man, I'm going to have to really be more on my guard mentally than I am when I, get in random people's cars. Like an Uber, okay? So I was like, dang, maybe I shouldn't have told him my phone was dying. Even though he seemed like a really nice guy, helped me get my groceries. He just had the nice vibe going on. But don't put stuff back past people. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it home. And guys, I did make it home. And with 2% left of my phone. So that 2% lasted for a whole 12 minutes. No, because it was like 4 and then went down to 2. So, my phone lasted for a whole 12 plus 9 minutes. I'm just thankful. 21 minutes. Thankful that it lasted all that time. Speaking of getting in people's cars, I'm going to just tell you all a little bit about this past weekend. So a friend of mine, I'm sorry if my head was cut off in the video, guys. I'm not re-recording. But a friend of mine took me to like a mountain here in the area of Madrid. It's like about like an hour away, and then we got off the metro and then we took a bus ride like 40 minutes up the mountain. And there's snow on the mountain, and I played in the snow, had an intense snowball fight, which is why my arm hurts, because even though my aim sucked, it was a lot of throwing, okay? It was a lot of throwing until this arm hurts. It's a little sore. Anyway, so we stayed up there so long that we just missed the last bus out. And it was like 7, and the sun is still out here until like 9. So, mind you guys, it was not cold on the mountain. Like, it was so cool to play in snow and not be cold. There was ice getting in my boots a little bit. Sometimes that made it a little bit difficult. But other than that, I wasn't cold, and I do not like to be cold. So, amazed. Anyway, so we come down the mountain, and then I'm like, okay, so how are we going to do it? So I looked up Uber, which thank God that Uber is global. I started this video telling you about some of the issues I have with Uber. But y'all, Uber double charged me one time. And then I was like nervous. I was going to have to call people and blah, blah, blah. But there was a simple little click tab here, click tab here, click tab here, refund your money. Uber, your efficiency is amazing. It's just your human nature part of it. People who just leave you. But I'm back. All that said, I'm glad Uber is public and global. But our Uber was not on this mountain. So I was like, how are we gonna get down? Mind you, we're standing at the bus stop and there's like cars driving down. And I'm like, they all going down this mountain. It's time to hike. What do you call hitchhike? So we hitchhiked. And this couple stopped with their 4-year-old son. And we got in. And so they got in the front seat and I was sitting in the back. And the mom came to the back. It was like a van. And they clearly ski. Because the seats were covered with like a wool sheet or something like a thick thing. So their seats wouldn't get damaged. They had I was like, wow, this is God sent. Because I had been sitting in snow, my butt was wet. It was just like, I didn't want to harm anybody's car, but they were prepared for us. So I was in the back seat with the lady, talking to her. I'm sizing them up because, I'm in their car. And I'm like, She seems like a very nice person. I mean, she seems like a nice person. I won't say very because I don't know, but she seemed like a cool person. She was clearly a mom. Her son was very like, look at me, mom. You're next to me. Look at me. Stop looking at who I don't know her. Look at me. So I'm like, yeah, that's definitely her son. Okay. And I started to like want to look back into the back seat to see if there was like, someone back there. But like a body back there. But I was like, I don't want to do that because if I see it, then I have to do something. So I'm gonna just look forward. And then get down this mountain. If I gotta jump out of the car, I'll jump out of the car. But I'm not looking back. Because right now, everything's copacetic. If y'all seen National Treasure, the dad said, don't mess with the status quo. I don't know if that's exactly what he said, but he definitely said something about status quo. And I wasn't messing with the status quo. And it was chill. She spoke a little bit of English. The person I was with spoke Spanish, so we were good. But, guys, the blessing was they didn't just take us back to like I told you guys, it was like an hour to, like, the end of the metro and then the bus stop, and it was like a 40-minute ride. They didn't just take us to the metro where we had an hour back. They took us all the way down into Madrid because I lived in Madrid and just dropped us off at the metro stop that, like, I was going to go home from. I was just like, thank you, God. Because I was so shocked that we had missed the bus. The time, like, the freak out never happened because I didn't have time to process that I was stuck on a mountain and not sure I was going to get down at 7 o'clock on a Sunday when I had work in the morning. Didn't have time to process that. I was down the mountain before it even really hit me. And, so that, to let you know that while there are buttholes in the world who will leave you with 4 bags of heavy groceries, there are very kind couples with a 4-year-old who will drop you off in your city, who won't leave you stranded on the side of the road when they're going to the same place you are. So thank you, humans who are out there. Also, special shout out to a very special couple to me, Gabby and Kareem. They have a YouTube channel where they discuss marriage. They have been married. They got married in 2013. And I'm pretty sure it was 2013. It could have been 2012. It might have actually been 2012. Because it was my senior year in high school. Yes, it was my senior year in high school. And I think they got married in like December. So yes, I graduated in 2013. But I believe they got married in 2012. And so they've been married since 2012. And I was able to see, they were one of the first couples that I was able to see in my generation. Kind of my generation. They're a little bit older than me. But like that I was able to see what marriage looks like. And the struggles that someone might go through and the ways that they stick it through. Like, I'm not saying that I really saw like deep struggles, but just saw them be married. And they started a YouTube channel and they talk about the struggles that they've gone through. They get very personal and they help you see both perspectives, the woman's perspective and the man's perspective. And what I love is that, I'm sorry, messages came on. What I love is that they display a woman taking the time to understand a man's perspective and really work with him. And a man taking the time to really understand a woman's perspective. And not just any woman, his woman, and vice versa. And understanding each other and listening to each other and just giving us who are not married an idea of what we would be walking into and how we can overcome challenges that may lead some other couples to a divorce. So shout out to them because I love what they're doing, but also they blessed me this week, and because of them, I was able to get groceries because I get paid on Friday. But they, there's that last week in between your last paycheck and your new paycheck that, you just might not make it, food-wise. And I was able to have groceries, and so I thank them very much. So thank you to all the kind people who've been in my life, and who've supported me. I very much appreciate it. Thank you for watching this video. And also, if you can be that kind of person in someone's life this week, I encourage you to do it. Because I'm going to remember that couple in the mountain and Kareem and Gabby for the rest of my life. Like, your difference or your effort, even if it's small, really makes a difference. The video cut out. But thank you.